Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And for those of you watching this live stream through my private Facebook group, welcome, welcome. So today I'm going to be bringing in some channeled messages for the solar eclipse happening tomorrow, April 19th and the 20th. And also the new moon, which is happening in Aries on the 20th as well. So this will be a combined energetic reading for the collective. And I'm doing this a little differently than I normally would because usually I pre-record these readings. But since I've been having a lot of issues with uploading times being very long. Hello, Amy. Welcome. Hi, Faith. Awesome. This was kind of a last minute decision to come live, but I was being guided to do it live this time because was just saying that I've been having trouble uploading the pre-recorded ones. It's just been taking so long, and then the editing process. So we're going to do it live today and see how this goes. But basically, we've got a lot going on. And even as I'm saying that, I'm feeling a lot of energy coming in. A lot's been happening this month in April. We had a full moon in Libra, which is a pink full moon that happened on the 6th of April. And I did plan on doing a reading for that, but because the energy was so intense, there was a lot going on in my own personal spiritual life, and I was just guided to just take a break. And so, I'm glad to be back, and hopefully we'll get some guidance from the guides today about what's going on and what we need to pay attention to and be aware of, some of the important energetic themes happening around these major energies that are coming through. So I would always love to hear from you in the comments how you're sensing these energies or anything you're picking up on. This is a group effort here when it comes to tuning in. We're all interconnected, and especially in this community, we're all very close and we work closely together. So definitely let me know how you guys are feeling the energies and shifts. And then I'll be bringing in some guides that stepped forward. I did a meditation a little bit earlier today to sort of start tuning in and getting a sense of who might be around. And I had a few guides step forward. So we'll tune into them, and I'll be pulling some cards to get a sense of the energies. And then if you guys have any specific questions related to the solar eclipse, or anything you want to know that might be happening, feel free to leave those questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to keep up with the comments as I move along. And just want to say hello to everyone. Hi, Gwen. Hi, Facebook user. Not sure who you are, but you can add your name in the comments. Yeah, and Amy is saying she's feeling a lot of densities and releasing. Yes, definitely. And I feel intuitively that's going to continue because just knowing a little bit about the solar eclipse, basically the moon goes in between the sun and the earth and blocks the so that really brings out the shadow. So blocking the light emphasizes the shadow. So there's probably going to be a lot coming up in terms of shadow work, integration work, purification work. And Faith is saying that she's sensing a mass purging and purification process. As I say purification, Faith, we're so tuned. Things that no longer serve me are being released and cleared to make room for the new. Yes, that is just the ongoing theme, I feel. And when I tuned in energetically earlier to the solar eclipse, that was one of the themes that presented. It was the idea of initiation, which is all about purification. So we are able to hold more of our own higher light, embody that on earth, the Christ consciousness and source energy. So beautiful. You're picking up on that. And Facebook user saying, I have been feeling pain, intense energies on my left side, pain as well, neck, shoulders, arms to brain, left side. Yeah, shooting, tingling on my heart. Yeah, there's a lot that can come in with the waves of ascension, definitely in terms of physical symptoms coming in. And, we just got to stay in as much in the vibration of love and take care of ourselves and nurture our bodies. As our bodies are adjusting to these frequencies, it's a little bit hard on the physical sometimes. So yeah, that's definitely a sign of things shifting. And also, yeah, short of patience, combative and communication mishaps. Oh, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, I have to say, I can definitely relate. I had a day. What day was it? It was Friday. No, was it Saturday? I don't know. It was over the weekend. But basically, I had a full day where I was just like not feeling myself. I was just feeling high level irritability. Like I just couldn't really be around anything, very chaotic type energy. I was getting a lot of upgrades and downloads. So I knew intuitively that was part of why I was feeling that way. But it was a pain, I had to just sort of surrender into that and just allow that to pass through me because it wasn't related to anything specific. So I knew it was just part of that feeling of just going through these ascension waves. And it does affect our emotional bodies as well. So yeah, irritable and crabby. Amy agrees. Yeah. Yep. It's a symptom. All right. It's definitely part of the process, unfortunately. But yeah, so well, thank you all for sharing. So let me just start. Oh, I had a couple announcements I wanted to start with before I get into the channeling. So first of all, for those in my Patreon group, I do have the Mediumship Circle event coming up on Tuesday, April 25th at 5:30 Eastern Time. I do want to let everyone know that the registration is full for that event, but I will have another one coming up in May. But also, I have started something new I've been guided to do, probably because the energies are getting so intense and I was having my own moments with that. And so I've decided to start. Well, this will be the first session I do, and I don't know how often I'll do them, but I'll do them as guided. But basically, I'm going to have an ascension support group through my Patreon. So if you're a member of the Patreon, it's open invitation to join. And that's happening on this Thursday, April 20th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't have to register for it. It's open invitation to anybody that wants to show up. But basically, it's an opportunity for us to just get together and share some of our personal stories and experiences as we're going through the ascension process. And it's just a safe place to share and ask questions and get guidance from spirit, because there is a lot of changes and they're happening really fast, and it can be a very confusing time, it can be a very chaotic time, can be a very overwhelming time. So it's very important, I think, for us to have that sense of support and community to help us through those more difficult, challenging moments. So, and it's good advice for us all here. That will be posted on my Patreon. We'll meet together on Zoom, and then after, it'll be recorded, and then I'll post our meeting on the wall in Patreon. So it will be available for everybody to see. And so that's what's happening on Patreon. And if any of you are interested in joining that, I'll just leave a quick. Well, hold on. I'm doing this. Let's see. I'm going to try to leave a link, but I don't know. I can't remember where that is. So, all right. Well, maybe I'll get to that later. I'll have to leave a link in the comments, but basically, yeah, I'll leave a link in the comments later because I can't find it right now where that is to put it on the screen. But, okay. And then the other thing happening, an Intuitive Soul Rising in the private Facebook group that many of you are a part of. We have Channeling Auric with Con Night coming on that group every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's a new thing that just started last Friday. So if you have personal questions, you need guidance, definitely tune into that, as Con will be taking your questions and channeling Auric for that. And so very exciting, lots of good changes happening. And then on YouTube tomorrow, we have our Divine Soul Awakening show, which is our live spiritual talk show. And that is going to be on at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's going to be Rita Mustafa, Khan's wife, who's an expert animal communicator, and she works with animals and holistic practices. I think it's Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine. I'll leave a link to that also if you're interested in joining for a discussion on how to take care of your animals. I think it's all about feeding, nutrition, diet, and just more tuned in ways to care for your pets. So that's happening tomorrow. Okay, so I think that's it for announcements. Yes. All right. So I did start a little bit ahead and pulled some cards. But before I get into those, so I had some guides show up, but before I get into those messages, I'm going to just start with like a general read. So I'm going to tune in now to, I just feel like the solar eclipse is a big one here, and I'm getting a lot of energy even tuning in. So let me ask about, I'm going to pull from my Moonology deck here to just get a sense of where the energies are coming in, what shifts are happening, what the momentum is, where the momentum is taking us, and what we need to know. And I'm also hearing it's a time for healing, so I'm already getting some messages coming in, but it's funny how the cards aren't. Oh, here's one. Okay, so we're getting be bold and make the first move, and don't let pride get in your way. So that's kind of interesting. So as I'm tuning into those messages coming in, I feel like that's like an undercurrent, but maybe more specific to the group or those who are watching the senses. But I'm feeling with these cards, the senses, there's like a boldness to the Aries energy, because we're talking about the new moon in Aries as well, but also the solar eclipse. So there is a fiery energy coming in with Aries and the new moon. And there is a necessity to be bolder and to be brave. So the don't let get pride in your way is the full moon in Leo card. And I'm getting a sense of like the sign of Leo coming in here too, because I'm getting the sense of courage is needed. So it feels like some of us are going to be tested in a certain way, and we're going to be tested in a way that's going to encourage us to stand our ground and be firm in our faith, but not overpowering. And I'm hearing like in the sense of like the divine masculine, like dominating, but it's like there might be some conflict. There might be some inner conflict happening with the inner divine masculine and feminine energies, but that could show up in our relationships as well, in conflict in the outer. So the feeling is like we need to be proud, but not let our pride get in the way of seeing the truth in terms of what's being presented, the higher messages. So it's all about listening to your heart, tuning into your heart and your higher wisdom, but also being bold and brave and willing to be courageous and stand your ground, because it feels like there's going to be a lot of tests coming our way and challenges coming our way. And this is in divine alignment with our spiritual missions, because our faith is being tested. And we're really being called to use our discernment when it comes to our heart's intuitive knowing of like what to listen to and what not to listen to. So and this is coming in the form of advice. So it feels like there might be some of us who are being called, the feeling is like being called to give advice or receive advice, or we might be getting advice or asking for advice, but we need to use our discernment in terms of what that advice is showing us or telling us. So some of us might be tested in our faith to stick to our guns or stick to what is true and what's really resonating with our truth center, because there's a lot of like manipulative forces out there and they're working behind the scenes. So it's not necessarily coming from places of pure bad intentions when we might be hearing advice or getting advice from others, but it could also be coming from a distortion in the field in terms of what people are connecting in with, like how they're connecting into the information that they're receiving or what their intelligence is telling them. It's kind of complicated how they're showing this, but essentially it's really about us learning how to stand in our own knowing. So using our own discernment. So that feels like a major theme and coming out, but also to not be prey. I'm hearing like, don't be the victim in here. Like we're all about standing in our power and standing in our truth, but that means taking sovereign action as well, and taking sovereign action forward to safeguard our truth is what I'm hearing. So that seems to be a strong message. I'm also getting this card, which is look at the bigger picture. So I'm hearing look at how all the pieces fit, like the greater puzzle. And they're talking about how things come into alignment. They're talking about your mission forward is to see the bigger picture. So not to pay too much attention to each little detail and spend too much time on trying to figure out how that detail fits, but let go of that process of needing to know exactly how that piece of information fits into the greater whole. Take a step back and surrender your ego, but the feeling is like not surrender to your ego, but surrender your ego. Surrender your ego's need to know all of how all the information fits, and take one piece at a time and just gather a sense of using your own intuition of what the higher message is in that information for you, and stay steady on your path. So if something doesn't make sense to you that you're picking up on, you might be getting a piece of information that's new information to you and you're not sure how that fits into your story or the greater puzzle of what that means. Take a step back and just let it just put it, it's like put it in a folder, like file that away and just let that be for now, and then just keep going on your steady on your path. And again, listen to your wisdom, use your discernment, and the truth will reveal itself in time as to how that relates and if that's even important information for you in the time. Because sometimes we get intuitive downloads, and I notice that when I get intuitive downloads, I think, oh my gosh, they're telling me to do this like right now, but it's not even like that. Sometimes it's just a piece of information that is more for like the future, and I don't always know how that's going to fit, but it's just like file that piece away and eventually you'll figure out how that fits, but it's not necessarily for you to know exactly now. And sometimes we'll get information. It's like, don't take action on that now today, but know that that's in your future timeline, or that's what you're connecting to in the future. So I feel like some of us might be getting messages that are like that, like little pieces of information that might not be for the moment, but for the future. Oh, and Faith is saying that she's already had one of these tests this week where she had to hold her boundaries and stand her ground. Wow. Yeah, that's where the lion energy comes in, the lioness energy. It's the energies are going to test you. That's what I'm hearing. The energies are going to test you, but that's what they're here to do. It's like, if you want to serve, you have to be tested in that way, because again, it's about learning how to connect to your higher heart, your higher wisdom, and your higher sense of knowing. And the only way to really do that is to have to navigate the terrain. And sometimes these tests pop up, these challenges pop up, but they do build strength and courage within us when we stand our ground, like you did, Faith. So that's awesome. I also had, okay, so with that, as I'm saying that, one of the cards that came out was the new moon eclipse, which is relevant or synchronistic, but expect powerful change. So that's just in alignment with what we were talking about. And then I also had this one saying you're very close to achieving your goal. So the feeling is like what they're saying is like the outcome is positive, the future outcome is positive. So we're all shifting onto higher timelines, higher outcomes. We're all manifesting the reward, is what I'm hearing, the spiritual rewards for the hard service, the hard work that we're doing. But the hard work is really about the soul work. It's about the integration. It's about facing your shadow head on. And that is the tough work of the light workers. It's not always an easy path. It's not always love and light and all of that. Like, yes, that's our mission. Our mission is here to bring joy and love and peace and all of those good qualities to the earth. But we have to hold our ground, and we have to be able to face our shadow at the same time and learn how to love our shadow and integrate our shadow. So that's really the deeper work. And while I was hearing healing work is just always a common theme, but that's what I feel is coming up again around this time. So okay, so I'm gonna move to see if anybody else has anything to share. Yeah, private message for me. That's how it all always works, especially on this group and this channel, because I tune really, I'm saying collective reading, but it's really I tune mostly to the energy of the group and those who are active on this channel and active in the Patreon and Intuitive Soul Rising group. So that's why some of the messages might feel more personal in that way. Okay, so I'm going to move to some of the guides that were coming through really strong, and they might be some guides that you guys are personally connecting to. So if they are, let me know. I'd like to know. But also, I'm curious to just put this question out there. What guides have you been connecting with lately? What spirit guides have been showing up for you during this, in April, I should say, during the last couple of weeks? I'm curious who you're all connecting with. But I did get a strong presence of the dragons, which I'm very strongly connected to. And I know they're helping us as a collective very strongly right now. So I pulled some cards from my Dragon Oracles deck that I'm going to share with you. But before that, I picked up on some of the Ascended Masters coming in. And in my meditation, I felt a really strong connection with Lady Nada and her energy coming in. She represents the goddess of love. She's also well, Mary Magdalene is a reincarnation of Lady Nada. And so their energies are very closely connected. And she works with the pink ray and the pink rose frequencies as well, Lady Nada. Oh, here's a picture. I did pull her card so I could show her. And so I had her coming through. And then I also had Lady Venus showing up as well, but I feel like their energies are very closely related. And then I realized that the full moon in Libra was a pink full moon, and it's all about relationships and harmony and love. And it's ruled by the planet Venus. I believe the sign of Libra, or I was reading that somewhere because I'm not an astrological expert by any means, but it felt like that was one of the associations with these two coming in. So let me tune into, let's see who wants to step forward. Definitely getting a draw to channel Lady Nada right now. So I'm going to tune into her energy. And if any of you feel a connection with her, feel free to tune in and share any messages that might come through from her for the collective at this time. And I'm going to see what she wants to share. So I feel like she's already talking about relationships and harmony. So they were definitely drawing my attention to that. And the power of that full moon energy is really, I feel like she's going back to talk about that, is really bringing balance to harmony back into relationships. So the focus and emphasis has really been on relationships and harmony in relationships, bringing balance into relationships. And she's saying that's going to be a common theme, like moving forward, as we go forward in our ascension process. It's really going to highlight all the areas of our relationships that need healing. And she's not just talking about our outer relationships, but she's talking about our relationships with our inner child specifically, is what she's saying. And I'm getting a lot of energy coming in. And this is really where she comes in with the heart activations. It's really about the inner work is healing the inner child. So there's a lot of wounded, I'm hearing masculines and feminines, but And there's a lot happening in clearing those wounds, but it's the heart of the inner child that is being resurrected into the light, is what she's saying. So there's a call to resurrect the inner child, which brings a sense of purity and joy back into your life. When you heal the inner child and you work with those wounds on a deeper collective level, is what she's saying, as an individuals, you're helping the collective heal those wounds as well. It's like all the childhood traumas, she's saying, all the ways that you felt separated from your parents, or misunderstood perhaps by your parents or authoritative caretaker figures in your life. It really represents our wound and separation from God, and the feeling that God doesn't love us, that we don't deserve his love. It's all about our worth, our self-worth. She's talking about Mother Mary as well as a guide that we can bring in with the energy of the white rose as well, and the blue rose. But the white rose represents purity and sanctification and purification. So she's talking about purification of our heart center and breaking down those walls, breaking down those barriers that have blocked us from our own intuition, from our own feminine intuition, and from our own inner childlike sense of seeing beauty in the world. How we view the world has really been tainted by these false paradigms, a lot of the patriarchal rules that sort of took the mother out of the equation, that nurturing side out of the equation. And so this is about bringing in the Father Christos energy and the Mother Sophia energy, and bringing harmonic balance between these two energies within. And this is all coming from source consciousness. So resurrect your relationship with source. So go back to source, ask questions of source to connect with your highest light and to embody your highest light. And you can, it feels like, call in her energy as well to help bring in more of the purification process that's needed to heal your heart, to mend your soul in the ways that it's been fragmented from the traumas that we've endured as a collective, really, in not knowing our true connection to our divine mother. That's really where we felt the most separate from source, in that sense of not being able to even know our divine mother, or that it's Mother, Father, God, not just Father, God, and being called to worship just the Father. And so these are just wounds that the collective is carrying right now that are ready to be healed. And it feels like that's why her energy is very important. And that's why it's helpful for us to really pay attention to the ways those wounds are going to show up within our shadow selves, because it's our shadow selves that carry those wounds and show up with the wounds. Is the shadow self that's triggered when the wound when those wounds are like reopened up. In other words, like when someone triggers us, or when an experience triggers us, that it's the shadow that's getting triggered, because the shadow is the one that carries the imprint of the trauma and the wound. So that's why we need to go into that. But use Lady Nada as a guide, because she's very, very loving, and Mother Mary as well. So let's see. I'm going to go back to the comments real quick. Oh, wow. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see. I was just seeing Fernandez said she plucked a pink rose from a bush yesterday. Awesome. Yeah, that's Lady Nada calling you with her beautiful rose frequency. And that's the priestess energy too, the rose priestess energy as well, that many of us have in our spiritual lineage from past lives, working with. So a Facebook user saying Shirdi Sai Baba is one of the guides showing up for her. And yes, beautiful. I'm familiar with that guide specifically, but that's beautiful. And you're welcome, Faith. And going down. Okay, we have someone asking for a message from Lord Shiva, Goddess Shakti. So I'm not taking personal messages at the moment. We're just talking this is more of a collective reading. I may save time for that later, so I'll start your message, but I'm not sure if we'll have time or not to get to personal readings today. And Faith's been working with Archangel Michael in her galactic Divine counterpart. Oh, Scion. Oh, you spell it. Okay. Sion. Awesome. That's beautiful. Yeah. Lots of new connections I'm even hearing. And I feel like Lady Venus wanting to come in with this one. So let me tune into her real quick. Um, so yeah, she's just confirming that many of us will be connecting to new soul galactic family members as we go through this ascension process. As we go through this upgrade process, we become more able to access our multidimensional aspects of selves, and those who have been lost to us or unknown to us will become known to us, is basically what she's saying. So pay attention to the galactic connections that you might feel a draw to. Research, learn about, explore. And many of us are connected to many different galactic races. So some of us know our specific starseed origins to be maybe Pleiadian or Syrian or of one specific heritage, but there are many races that we are all connected to, many that are unknown to us in terms of names and locations, but essentially just move in the direction you feel called by your heart to research and explore when it comes to galactic connections. And your star brothers will show up for you in your dream time, I'm hearing, in your astral realm experiences. Some of you might be doing astral projecting, because I'm hearing out of body experiences where you can meet with your galactic family members in a safeguarded space. So call on source energy to create that energetic safeguarded space so you can meet with your team, your high team of light, I'm hearing, and get to know each other better and how you can serve your missions together. And so, and it's all about bringing in the harmonic frequencies of the galactics as well, because there are many benevolent galactic beings working with us in the background. But, um, some of us are just not fully conscious yet of how their frequencies are helping us to harmonize. And so we can call on them and ask for more specific messages and ways to harmonize with their frequencies. So use your intuition to pick up on what intuitive guidance comes in when you sit in meditation, connect to source, and ask for your starseed family to reveal themselves to you and how they're helping you on your mission. So that's beautiful. Someone else is also working with Archangel Michael. Yes, he's a popular guide to be around us at this time. Definitely helping us walk the way of the truth and the light, and to speak our truth as well and stand in our sovereign power. Oh, wow. Someone did a energy clearing with a spinning pink rose. Yes. Okay. So the spinning pink rose, I use that a lot also in my meditations for clearing work, because it's beautiful. It brings in the rose frequencies, but it's also the spiral. So it brings in like the sacred geometry of the rose frequency. And as you spin that rose, the petals start to open up and they really break through a lot of the blockages in your chakras. And and you can work with different colored roses for different areas of healing. And how do you know if your heart is open? That's a good question. So let me tune into Lady Nada for that. How do you know if your heart is open? So she's showing is like a feeling. It's like, but it takes practice to really feel and sense that, because there are a lot of blocks and restrictions to our own awareness and capability of being able to sense that within. So it's really about changes in vibration, changes in frequency. So when your heart is open, you feel a lift in your spirit, you feel a lift in your energy, like a lift up. It's like your cells are vibrating on a higher frequency, so you feel like resonance in it's like you're more tuned to the feeling of, like, it's hard for me to get this out because it's a feeling, but the ways of love, the ways of just expressing yourself authentically and purely from the heart. So it's a practice, though, is kind of what she's showing me. That's why it's like don't um get discouraged is the feeling. Like if you're not always feeling that love opening up, even though you're trying to tune in and you're wanting to open your heart chakra, it takes time to really get into that flow. Sometimes it happens like just you get that natural lift and you're there and you're aligned. But other times there is sort of a delay because you are working through those blocks. So notice the resistance and the fears that come up. If you're attempting to tune into your heart center and you're feeling like just like not a connection there, not a full opening or embracing of the opening up, then there are some blockages there that your higher self is wanting you to look at a little bit and maybe feel into what is restricting that, what fears might be coming up, what feelings of restriction are coming up, and tune more your awareness to those and try to sense where those are coming from. But she's saying a lot of those come from like an inner wounded child, and she's saying this is a practice. It's not like a state of embodiment where we're always going to feel so tuned to our heart, but it's more of a state of awareness of when we feel in alignment with our choices and when we feel out of alignment. It's like in resonance or in dissonance with our choices. So there's a need to just practice through meditation, connecting more to that spiritual center within your heart center, and to notice when you feel that resonance and it's coming in strong, then it will be easier for you to sense that within and to tune yourself to that within as you go through your day and tune into intuitively, like, is this the right choice? Is this not the right choice in that sense? So it's all about just coming into alignment with your own core soul frequency, which is very unique to all of us as to how we're all here to express our own divinity on earth is very unique to all of us. So what resonates for one person might not resonate for somebody else. And so definitely use practices too and try different methods when it comes to meditation and using different visualizations and techniques like that to help tune your heart and open you up in that way. And sometimes there can be blockages in other chakras, she's saying, that don't are blocking the flow to the heart. So you're heart centered, but you might not be feeling the expansion within your heart because maybe there's blockages in lower chakras or that are blocking that flow from being felt or coming in. So hopefully that helps to answer your question. Let's see, we've got Carolyn. Oh, nice. Yes, beautiful. I love it. Love it. Okay. Hi, Alyssa. Love you too. All right. So let's see. So I wanted to bring in, okay, so the other two guides that came in were a white eagle and a Lady Portia. And so with these two cards, I'm definitely was getting a very strong sense of karmic releasing and divine order. So coming back into balance, but doing the healing work as it relates to our ancestral clearing, as it relates to these past traumas, what's carried on in our own ancestral lineage, and how it relates to our own karmic path. And what we're here to do as light workers is clear the path, wipe the slate clean, is what I'm hearing from a spiritual perspective. And that's what's going to let us to really birth these new timelines and enter into our own Christos body, which is our embodiment of the highest light body of the Christos energy, and really transform ourselves and purify ourselves from the heart, our heart and soul. So again, it goes back to the purification process is what I'm let me to Lady Portia, just to, because I feel someone, I'm getting guidance here, but I want to tune more to her energy around this. And yeah, she's saying there's a portal opening up right now. It's a cosmic timeline. There's like a new cosmic timeline. She's talking about like as if the reset button has been pushed. And that's really what we've been in. That's the stage of growth we're in this cosmic cycle, which happened around 2012 is what she's saying, when the reset button was hit. And so From this point, we're working with the 0 point energy where anything can be created. So it's a chance to really clear all the past trauma and heal all the wounds. And the energies are here to help us do that. So those frequencies are here to help us do that. So, and the guides are here to help support us in that, is what she's saying. But is there anything else you would like to share? So the karmic pathways are being cleared, and we are being enlightened, it feels like, in the ways to heal these within ourselves. But it's our own inner knowing of our own truth and our own connection to the divine that allows us to see from a higher mind and a higher perspective, which is more of like a neutral perspective, not to get involved in the dramas. She's saying not to get involved. That's how we're being tested. It's like dramas are being put in front of us. Like we're purposely being put into like dramatic situations with maybe family members, people, I don't know, just in general, as a collective, to kind of test our capacity to stay in the neutral, to stay out of the conflict, is what she's saying, to be the neutral observer, to hold the frequency of love and compassion for all, to see all as our brothers and sisters, to do no harm. In other words, to not back down from a challenge, is what she's saying. But it's like, speak your truth in a way that doesn't do harm to others. It doesn't inflict harm to others. So we're not here to necessarily give unsolicited advice or to prove ourselves to anybody. We're not here to prove ourselves to anyone. The only one we're here to prove ourselves to is God, or to work with is God, in that sense. And so it's really about surrender to God's will at this point in our spiritual process. And that's really the initiation they're talking about, is our ability to surrender our free will to God's will, to serve God's will in the capacity that is of our divine nature and in accordance with our divine soul organic blueprint and timeline. So it's not about ego trying to prove a point in terms, or even having to explain it yourself to anybody. It's just your direct connection with source and your inner knowing that you are connected in that way, that you are being divinely guided, and that as long as you stay true to that connection, you don't need to step into the conflict in that sense, step into the battle in that way. Do speak your truth, they're saying, but don't cause harm, is really what it is. Give everybody else has the right to speak their truth as well. So it's really important for us to see that, and again, stay in the higher perspective. And that's really how you clear the karma. You don't create new karma for yourself because you're staying out of the mess. In other words, you're here to hold that light, that higher perspective in unity consciousness. So I hope that came out. And white eagle is a really great spirit to work with, spirit guide to work with, when it does come to working with like the lower chakra energy, anything that needs to be cleared, again, that is stored in our root chakra. Like, again, all this ancestral trauma that we basically, I don't want to say we bring forward, but we agree to take on when we come into this lifetime. We take on the genetics of who we are related to, and our spiritual genetics lines. And so, he's a good guide to come in with the energy healing work that's necessary. I mean, you can do a meditation guided by him, intuitively guided meditation with him as a spirit guide, to kind of help show you what some of those blocks might be and how to best clear those energies. So I'm going to look back at the comments here. I just got like a really calm energy come over. Wow, Michelle, I'm so sorry to hear that. She slipped. Accident. Yeah. Yeah, it's sometimes that happens, and we'll send you lots of healing energy. Sorry to hear that, but it's like tough lessons these days, right? I mean, wow. There's a lot happening out there, so stay safe and just try to stay in the present moment. That's the best we all can do. And And yeah, what was let's see, one more person was saying a fern tuned into white eagle. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious if you have experiences with white eagles. So I don't know if anybody has any specific questions they want to know about the energies coming in, but those were the main guides that showed up. And I did pull some cards from the Dragon Oracle deck that are somewhat related to some of those messages. And so with the karmic, let's see, I had Kuan Yin's pink dragon show up. Who Kuan Yin is also an amazing ascended master to work with when it comes to compassion, mercy, healing, also inner child work. The message on the card says brings firm love that resets your karmic balance. So that was the karmic balance we were talking about. See all your cords dissolved by transcendent love. Enjoy your freedom. Look for the divine around you. So I just can't. So I keep getting the reminder that this is just a very important time with the solar eclipse, bringing it back to these energies and the new moon to reset the karmic cycle. That's one of the themes they want me to emphasize about that. So there's many, again, different guides you can bring in, but Kuan Yin and her pink dragon as well. These frequencies can be very healing for that. And if you set your intention around that as well, the feeling is you will be, your spiritual lessons will be brought to light. In other words, the areas that you're here to work on different karmic clearing work will come through in the shadows. In the shadow work is what I'm hearing through this solar eclipse energy. I also had the orange dragon come in. So this dragon brings soul families and communities together, spread belonging, warmth, and oneness, bring people everywhere together. So this is going back to, I'm hearing the collective harmonic frequencies that we're here to bring in. Again, it's really about holding space for everybody to grow and have the experiences that they're here to have for their own evolution without judgment, without fear, without the need to negate anybody's experiences. I've noticed in the light worker community, especially the communities that I am a part of outside of this one, that and in some of the higher, more well-known spiritual teachers that I even follow are speaking very, very firmly certain beliefs or taking certain stances on certain issues that have been coming up in the world scene, and they don't all agree. They don't all, they all like each other, know each other, and respect each other, but they don't all share the same views on certain matters that are affecting us. And so it's really important to understand that everybody has a right to their opinion, everybody has a right to their view, and you know we're all doing the best we can to just align with our truth. And so part of our starseed mission really is to hold space for everybody to have a different perspective, because we are multidimensional beings. This is what's coming in right now, and we're going to hold a multidimensional perspective, and that requires us to accept differences in points of view without criticizing, judging, or shaming. um, we can stand in our truth and say this is where we're at, this is what we believe, but we don't it doesn't necessarily mean to we don't have to create like fear or conflict within the light worker community around those who may not share the same perspective, but maybe on the same path towards enlightenment. In that sense, like we're all on that ascension path and we're all on that path together. And so we're learning to harmonize our frequencies and be our own unique expressions of source. So I feel like that's just a higher message that wants to come through. And then I put these two cards together, but I had two other dragons show up. I had the blue dragon, the Pleiadian dragon, and I had the Archangel Gabriel's white dragon. Dragon prepares you to accept source healing, accept a heart activation, give and receive heart healing. So that just goes in alignment with Lady Nada's message and in what we were channeling earlier about the importance of the heart activations. And then Archangel Gabriel's dragon brings purification. Self-discipline will speed ascension and bring joy. You can carry Archangel Gabriel's diamond. So Archangel Gabriel is really amazing to work with. And I see him present as a male to me energetically, but some, angels really are androgynous in the ways that they present. But some tune into his female, more feminine side. But essentially, he's like one of the guardian archangels. Like he's very strong and he has a lot of responsibility, but he's helps us communicate more clearly, so he's on that level. But he also carries this white diamond energy that serves as like a protective field and helps us to connect with source. So when I tune into his energy for other people, I tend to see, when he's really working with someone, I see in their field, I see the diamond above their head and I see the white light of Archangel Gabriel just kind of following them everywhere they go. And so he's really a great archangel to bring in that high vibrational diamond light, which is all about the purification, so of the heart and the soul. So I feel that he helps us to really tune to source and source wisdom. So wisdom is another aspect that he brings and quality that he brings into our life. So the feel is like some of you should call on Archangel Gabriel more if you aren't tuning to his energy. And maybe I'll do a channeling with him soon, because I haven't really channeled him on my YouTube channel before, but I have done some Archangel interviews, I guess you could say, but I haven't done one in a while. So maybe I will with Gabriel. I feel like he's reminding me because I thought I was going to do that before, but his dragon energy is very strong too. So this is the dragon that works with him as well. And the white dragons are very pure and can definitely help cleanse our auras, I'm hearing as well. So auric cleansing, shielding, auric shielding as well, protective shielding work for those harsh energies that we pick up on sometimes, especially if we're going into kind of a state of conflict or an environment where there might be the potential for conflict or harsher environmental energies that we might pick up on. Archangel Gabriel and his dragon, they're showing me that they can help to protect and fortify our shield, our auric shield. So if there's holes or leaks, they can kind of help safeguard us from energy coming in, unwanted energy, that can distort our ability to see the highest light or to see the highest path. So Amy was saying she's been learning this lesson herself this week, trying to give grace and acceptance whether others have different perspectives. Yeah, it's just an ongoing learning process, and it's part of what we're here to do, to build our community and to hold the space for everybody to grow and evolve at the rate that's comfortable for them, that is in alignment with their divine blueprint. Excuse me. So kind of getting that throat clearing sensation. Let me just take a sip of water, but it's causing me to think like maybe it's probably time to wrap this up soon. But I will pull a couple more cards to wrap up the messages here. So let's see. Okay, so they're kind of guiding me to do this one. So I'm going to do one from the Kyle Gray Activation of Light deck and see if anything comes out from this deck. Oh, yep, here it is. Okay, a couple came out. Pleiadian activations. So I feel like this is for this group specifically. They're telling me coming together, harmony in the heavens, resolution. So it feels like what they're saying is like some of these conflicts we're talking about are going to be resolved. They're going to come into a state of resolution and harmony again. But they're saying give it some time and give it some space. So these energies are going to create some conflict, the solar eclipse energies, it feels like. But the feeling is like being patient process and allowing the energies to just come in and clear what they need to clear the distortions out of the field. There's going to be a return to harmony and a return to resolution. So a return to peace, more peaceful states. So, and it feels like this is about self-awareness really, and understanding too what it's like, how what brings us a sense of inner peace and inner harmony, and what brings us a sense of chaos or it's like the inner conflicts that we might be experiencing within, those are going to rise to the surface so that we can kind of see what we're being called, how we're being called to balance those energies. Like it's like the sides of our personality that might be conflicting with each other. Like maybe there's some shadow sides coming into a conflict with some of the aspects of ourselves that are taking us more down the spiritual path. There might be some conflicts with how to proceed forward that might show up. And so it's all about, again, like nurturing yourself and really being willing to look with a very clear sight and a higher mind, what's being shown to you within those conflicts. There's a better way forward. And sometimes our egos want to fight to be heard, but or even the shadow side of ourselves might feel the need to project conflict into our lives in our outer relationships to highlight where the conflict is within ourselves. So where are we battling ourselves is really the question. So that feels like something they wanted to add into being aware of these energies. And then the Seraphim's gateway is what came out. Voice activation, angelic attunement, divine support. Voice activation. So it's about the throat chakra. So some of us might feel like we're getting some activations there, or we're just getting like a push to speak our truth, like louder. The feeling is with more volume or more intensity. In terms of frequency, so what they're saying is in terms of harmonic frequency. So learning how to speak from a place of love and heart-centered, the truth of our being, the truth of our soul. And that's all about coming into oneness with our divine soul essence. So the more we communicate directly to source, the more we establish that strong communication with source, that strong link of communication, which Archangel Gabriel, he's showing, can really help you to do. He can help you to strengthen your voice and your connection to source so that you can hear the wisdom coming through louder, and so that can speak through you. And so you can allow that angelic attunement and frequency come through your vocal cords, is what they're saying, actually, because it's that sound of love. It's going to echo that sound of love, that vibration of love into the world. So it is really important for that, from that perspective, from the angelic perspective, that we speak our truth from that place, that we speak the truth of our heart, and that we don't shy away from opportunities to do that. And so, because that's what we need to be birthing into the world, is that higher vibrational sound and that light. It's like the sound of light is what they're saying, but the sound of the angelic frequencies that come through when we speak from that place of purity and innocence is what I'm hearing. So I think because we're at the hour, we're going to wrap it up there. I wasn't really sure how this was going to go in terms of if I would have time to pull personal messages or not, but it feels like this is the right place to end here, because I do feel that all of us are so interconnected. I'm sure that many of these messages hopefully resonated for many of you and those who will be watching the replay. If you are watching this on replay, please do be sure to share in the comments if some of these messages resonate. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'll also be leaving some links in the descriptions box to my Patreon group and how to join that, and some upcoming events that I have going on there, and in my private Facebook group, Intuitive Soul Rising. Just want to send love to you all. Thank you so much for everyone who showed up today and participated in the comments, and many blessings. And we'll see you guys soon. Love you all. Bye.